Hello and welcome once again to the Dr. Zeero Free Magic Secret Show, where we investigate all forms of magic, and we're on a roll talking about ninja magic. And even though ninja themselves won't use the word magic, it'll use the word mysticism and such, but it would classify as magic to us witchy folks, and that's the important part. So I'm going to be reading a little bit of a martial arts master named Stephen K. Hayes, very famous ninja instructor who went on to create a new martial art called Toshindo, which is still being taught all over the United States. And if you are interested in learning about the martial arts or participating, you should definitely look them up. So this is an old school book. He had a 6-volume set of books just called Ninja with subtitles. And this is from volume 1, Spirit of the Shadow Warrior. So, very quickly, one important goal in the study of ninjutsu is developing an awareness of Ki, spelled Ki-AI, allowing one to come into harmony with the scheme of totality. More simply stated, the student of ninjutsu must become a totally natural being. This system of awareness is based on a mystical knowledge of the universe, as taught centuries ago by Japanese Yamabushi warrior mountain priests, and developed for combat by Seinen and Gyoja warrior ascetics who wandered in the wilderness of the Ki Peninsula. There is nothing bizarre, unreal, or imaginary implied in the mystical teachings of ninjutsu. Mysticism is simply the study of methods used in order to directly experience an awareness of natural laws and universal consciousness. By observing nature with an unbiased mind, man comes to understand his world and how he relates to it, and thereby comes to understand himself. Stemming from Tibetan tantric lore, the doctrine of Mikyo, or the secret knowledge, teaches that all physical aspects of existence originate from the same source and can be classified in one of 5 primary manifestations of the elements. Ku, the emptiness, or the source of subatomic energy, the nothing from which all things take their form. Fu, the wind, or elements in a gaseous state. Ka, the fire, or elements in an energy-releasing state. Sui, the water, or elements in a fluid state. Qi, the earth, or elements in a solid state. As a way of visualizing the creation of the universe, it is taught that Ku, the emptiness, became charged with polarities that later transformed themselves into different grades of electromagnetic charge. These charges formed atoms which brought about the chemical gases of the Fu state, which blended with each other to produce reactions at the Ka level. Following this, the molecules became the vapor of the Sui state and later solidified to bring about the solid matter of the Ki level. This progression is referred to as the descending development of the elements. To study man's relation to the rest of the universe, physically, emotionally, intellectually, or spiritually, the elemental manifestations are reversed and followed in ascending order, beginning with the Ki solidity that is perhaps the simplest level with which to identify. Combinations of atoms with their nuclei and orbiting particles have been viewed as models of the universe with its whirling solar systems and galaxies. In the same manner, the human body can be seen as a miniature model of nature. Therefore, by studying the relationships of these elemental manifestations in nature, the ninja learns how to become a more natural and balanced being, more conscious of personal power and responsibilities in the stream of life. In the human body, Ki, the earth, corresponds to the bones, teeth, muscles, and other solid body tissues. Sui, the water, represents the body fluids and those aspects of the body that provide suppleness and flexibility. Ka, the fire, is seen as the process of metabolism and is experienced as body warmth. Fu, the wind, corresponds to the breathing cycle, the movement of air into the body and then out and into the breathing cycles of others. Ku, the emptiness, manifests itself as noise, speech, and the ability to communicate. The physical elements of the body reverse their order of manifestation as they disappear during the process of death. Upon dying, the first element to go is consciousness of and ability to communicate with others. The breathing is the next function to cease. The next elemental manifestation to fade away is the fire, as the dead body loses its warmth. Eventually, the water element falls away, and the body becomes stiff and dried out. Finally, even the earth element is consumed, and the bones and teeth turn to dust or stone. The 5 elemental manifestations that appear as physical matter around us are also paralleled in the stages of elevation of the personality within us. We all move up and down from one element of influence to another and refer to the effects of our changing consciousness as our moods. At the earth level, the basest of the elemental manifestations, we are conscious of our own solid physicalness and stability. There is a resistance to any change or movement and a desire to maintain things exactly as they are. Rocks are perhaps the most characteristic example of the earth principle, in that they are incapable of growth, movement, or change without the aid of the other elements. When our personality is under the influence of the earth element of manifestation, we are concerned with keeping things in their places, and we are conscious of the solid parts of the body. Ki, the earth element, has its center at the base of the spine, and the color red is associated with this physical influence. At the water level of our physical personality, the next highest of the elemental manifestations, we are conscious of our own emotions and the fluid elements of the body. This level of consciousness is characterized by reactions to physical changes and a fluid adaptability to one's surroundings. Plants provide the clearest example of the water principle in action. In that plants are capable of independent movement and growth, they react to stimuli, and yet they are incapable of controlling their environment. When our personality is under the influence of the water element of manifestation, we react to what we encounter, and we are oriented toward the heavier emotions. Sui, the fluid element, has its center in the lower abdomen, and the color orange is associated with this emotional influence. At the fire level, the third highest of the elemental manifestations, we are conscious of our aggressive nature. Aggression in this sense refers to dynamic or expansive energy, and it is not intended to carry a negative or violent sense. At this level of consciousness, we experience feelings of warmth, enjoyment, and direct control over our environment. Wild animals are perhaps the most characteristic example of the fire principle in that they are capable of remembering and thinking, exerting control over their lives, and seeking pleasure. When our personality is under the influence of the fire element of manifestation, we are aware of our expansiveness, dynamic power, and our reasoning faculties. Ka, the fire element, has its center at the lower tip of the breastbone, and the color yellow is associated with this expansive, aggressive influence. At the wind level of our personality, the fourth developmental state from the base physicalness, we are aware of our own intellect and benevolence, and this influence manifests itself as feelings of wisdom and love. Human beings are the highest example of the wind principle, in that they are capable of contemplation, intellectual understanding, and love. When our personality is under the influence of the wind element of manifestation, we experience compassion, acceptance, and conscious consideration of our interactions with other individuals. Fu, the wind element, has its center in the middle of the chest, and the color green affects this benevolent influence. The highest and most refined of the physical elements is Ku, the great emptiness of potential. Originally translated by Western scholars as ethereal substance, this emptiness is today best represented by the concept of subatomic structure. Invisible bits of energy form atoms, which then combine to form the entire range of material things in existence. In the personality, the emptiness brings about the creative capability and the ability to direct the potential to become any of the four lower elemental manifestations. Ku, the source of all elements, is centered in the throat, and the color blue is associated with this creative influence. So that is your quick lesson for today on the Dr. Zeero Free Magic Secrets Show, bringing you free magic from across the world that is dope and fresh every single time. And do hope that you enjoyed this little rant. If you want to learn more, study into Stephen K. Hayes. He is a wonderful character, and he's got tons of stuff on YouTube. It's always amusing to watch him talk in interviews and whatnot, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So hit the subscribe button. Let people know I exist. Post these videos on Facebook or wherever else. And as always, here's a rockin' outro just for you folks. See you guys around. Have a good night. Bye-bye.